So, I have decided to do a self reflection video for 2025. And I don't have one from last year, but this is one for me, I guess, for next year, if you will. This year has been both a good year, but it's also been just not the strongest. There's one of my favorite quotes that Pastor Mike says, which is like, this will be your best year ever if it's your best year spiritually. And so it's crazy because I feel like this has been my best year because it has been my best year spiritually. And this year, I feel that I have done more praying, being on my face, being just in communication with God than I ever have in my entire Christian walk since getting saved at 16. I have been more intentional about being in scripture, and just being more endoused in the word. So that whether that's through, sermons, through podcasts, um, and through just more of a reading of the word than I ever have in my faith walk, y'all. Um, I also feel that just being intentional about being more accountable and being more in community, which is a new thing for me, but my intentions for a lot of different things spiritually have been just way more. So, like I said, accountability and being more in community and understanding more and more what that means, what that looks like, and then, reaching out and being intentional about those touch points. And so that has been the most rewarding thing, and just being like, man, I'm just in this place where it's like, Father, I thank you. Being more grateful, being more understanding of how great God is, His grace and His mercy, more specifically. Even, I mean, it's just that when you just have this internal realization and revelation of God and who He is, it's just like you can't help to be more grateful and just being more mindful of His grace and mercy and how it is so active in our lives. But the other end of this year is that I also have just seen what I would feel or believe to be more character flaws in and of myself. And it's crazy because I felt that, 2024 and 2023 already had showed me character flaws, right? But a lot of those were more related to like relationships and things of that nature. But this year has also shown me those sort of character traits that, dude, I just don't like about myself. And I'm wrestling with this thing of like finding things out about yourself. And sometimes with that feeling where it's like, well, Lord, I see all of these things and I don't like them. And it's like I'm wanting to address each one of the things that I'm finding about myself that I don't like. And I want to address them now. And I want to fix them now. And I want to change them now. But there's that reality of it's just like it hasn't happened in a way, if that makes sense. Or isn't happening in the way that I want. Um, and I'm also just battling, I think, from a spiritual standpoint and maybe even just a mental standpoint of like feeling like I do too much. You know how you can have like a person or a friend in a friend group who does too much, whatever it is that might be. I feel like I'm that person. I feel that there's a lot of different things that I might do or go through or not, and everything feels at 1,000 in my mind when I'm doing them or thinking about them. And things just doesn't seem to just want to be simple for me and clear for me. And it's like I get stuck in that cycle sometimes of comparison where I'm like, why am I like this? Why can I be normal why does this thing seem to be difficult for me? That other person is chill. They're pretty nonchalant. They're fine. They're this, they're that. But yet, the areas of my life that I'm seeing as being, whether that's character flaws, I don't know, personality traits, if you want to call them, and to an extent, or just even things that I'm actively trying to do and work towards. Why does everything seem difficult for me? To the point where I'm like, Lord, why do I feel like I'm doing too much? And it's very, very frustrating. It makes me angry. It makes me sad. Because I just feel like this year was so much about being intentional. Lord, I'm trying. I'm trying to do the right things. I'm admitting things. I'm acknowledging things that maybe I hadn't even acknowledged and talked about before. But then it's just there, and I don't really know what to do with all this information that I now have. If anything, it just feels very overwhelming. Yeah. So although it's been, I could say a whole lot more. But I also have come to the place where it's like I could talk myself into so much of frustration and just essentially make myself more frustrated at times. And I've been open with God about these things and prayerful, but I'm just still in a place where I don't really know what to do with all of these things that I'm thinking and feeling at the moment. So it's been a great year spiritually, right? But it's also been a very frustrating year. I had things that I had been working towards, making progress in some of these things, and then middle of the year completely fell apart. Time it got to June, July, when I say fell apart, to the point where like spiritually, mentally, I could not do. But I asked myself, was it just me? Because the me that does too much, the me that wants instant gratification, the me that wants to change things right away, the me that wants to do, was it me? And that's the reason why I felt like the things that I felt that I was progressing in and making a difference in, and all the things kind of fell apart, where I felt like I literally could no longer do them. Was that me? Or Lord, was that you trying to bring me more to a place of surrender? And I'm not going to lie, those two feel like they've just not been on the same playing field mentally as to what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, okay, well, Lord, if these are the things that you're bringing up, I'm acknowledging, Lord, I acknowledge them. I ain't got it together. But then you're like, okay, Lord, what do I do with this? Or is it just me this entire time? I overthought it, as I do, overthink, and I overwhelm myself. And I do all of that, and it was just me. So 2025 was just interesting. But the last 6 months have felt very, very overwhelming. I'm not going to say very, very. See, I'm doing too much already. But just overwhelming. Because I'm trying to do things and make changes and amongst a bunch of other different things, and it just keeps seeming like things are happening for other people, not happening for me. Things come more easily for other people. God's doing this and that in other people's lives, so there comes the comparison again, and it's not happening for me. And so 2026 is like, I wanted to finish 2025 strong, but I feel like I am crawling across the finish line. But I'm hopeful for the next year. And what I hope for is just that I continue to live a life of faith, walk by faith, stay closer to God, and continue to draw near to Him. Get more in the Word. Let the Word penetrate deeper into my heart. And continue going through the sanctification process, if that's what this has been in the last 6 months. If this is sanctification, I don't like it here. I don't like it here. But